Hello, friends. Welcome back. It's rainy day out. Um, Thankfully, I got all my workouts in, did everything I needed to do outside already, so I consider that a win. But truthfully, I am feeling lost in a way that I've never really felt before. And I'm hesitant to share this, which is why I'm going to share it, but it's a new challenge. It's a new feeling. It's a loss of my identity. It's been really hard being separated. And one of the things that really triggered me into almost what I would describe as an emotional relapse is happy memories. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the mood at the time, but as an example, I was sitting on the couch with my kids, and a family member had liked an old Facebook post that's years old, and it was of a video of me and my kids when they were younger rolling down a hill. And my kids are much older now. They're still young, but they're much older than they were at the time. And if I had to guess, they were probably around two and four, excuse me. And when I saw that video, oh, I'm going to have to pause because my daughter's calling me. And mental note to self, in the future, when making videos, I should probably turn off the ringer to my phone. Anyhow, I saw this memory. I relived this memory. I watched the video, and I remember the feeling of what it was like in that moment. And I remember, even though I knew things were not where I would like them to be in our marriage, we had, this is actually fun. So I knew that we needed help, and we had early on in our marriage started going to different resources, different therapists, different counselors, different everything you could think of to do to save a marriage or repair a marriage or whatever. We did all those things, or at least I did. And anyhow, that memory. I remember how proud I felt to be a father. I remember how joyful I felt in that moment. And I haven't felt a whole lot of joy really in anything in a long time. And it's frustrating because almost everything I've ever done in business or anything has always been with the mindset or geared towards providing opportunities and experiences for my family, and really to leave a legacy for them so that they have more options when they get older. And when all of that work and all of that sacrifice is not valued or respected or even recognized, it is soul crushing. And that's my reality. And so since we've separated, it has been hard for me to stay in my lane because while we're separated and not yet divorced, but headed in that direction, I find myself falling back into the pattern that I stopped doing, which is I know that I can't control anything that anybody does. And I certainly am not trying to control my ex or anything like that at all. But the children are being impacted in a way which I only control 50% of the time. And it is maddening. it is causing me to want to try to fix many different things in my ex, which I know I can't. I know it's a loser. I know it will never win. I know that is the path to insanity or hell, or feeling like I'm in hell. And I did that for a long time. So I have to let go of many things that I really don't want to. And I feel like my kids' future is at stake. And that memory reminded me of it. It reminded me of how I used to feel when I had some optimism, when I had some hope, when I felt like, in fact, being separated has made me feel most of the time like a bad father. It's made me feel most of the time like I'm losing them. And, well, then what's the fucking point of anything I do? And that's the battle that I have to win in my own head. And yet I do. I still do the things that need to be done. I still am responsible, but this process is fucking torture on me. And I think it is for the kids too. And yet other folks feel like they're living their best life. And I don't. And I think I might have lost track of the fact that I do have faith that there is a much brighter future on the other side of this season that I'm suffering from or suffering through. But that's what it is, which takes me to kind of a funny story, which, again, I don't normally talk to my separated wife about anything that has anything except what has to do with the children. So it's highly unusual for me to get a phone call to chit chat about anything. And when I got one, I was really confused as to why this is happening. And yet I was curious because it was clear that there was something that she thought was funny that needed to be shared with me, which was that she ran into one of our marriage counselors. And it happened to be the first marriage counseling that we had gone to right out the gates. And it was through the church that I had found. And before that, I hadn't gone to church since I had been confirmed. So as a father, I knew that it was important that I get back into church and I model that for the children. But I wasn't sure on which church I wanted to go to, so I kind of church shopped for a while, and eventually I continued shopping. But anyway, at the time, this was the best solution that I could find, and I thought it was a great solution. I really enjoyed that church. I really respect and like that church, and I had a good experience with it. So when they offered marriage counseling, it seemed like the next best thing, or the best thing. So we went, and immediately, when we went into this marriage, this closed group, which was an intimate setting with a few other married couples, but the counselors or the lead couple, the leaders, it was very clear to me that something was off, that I immediately knew what it was. And so when we left, I let my wife know, like 99.9% certain that the reason that they're having marriage problems is that the husband is a closet homosexual, which that sucks. I don't want anybody to be in the closet. And I certainly don't want to take marriage counseling or advice from someone who's living that lie. But I knew it intuitively, instantly, in the moment. And yet we continued to go to that course, that class that was a few weeks long. We worked through the material, and I never really thought much about it again after it was done. But I remember, I knew that to be true, and my wife called to chit chat because she ran into the guess now ex-wife, and she let me know that my suspicions were correct, that on their 18th marriage, on their 18th anniversary, he presented her with a ring that she was very excited about, only to find that he was going to propose to his husband. And that sucks. Can't imagine what that's like. None of that is my experience. But, I mean, I knew it. And it was funny. But be careful where you take your advice from. Be careful where you get your counseling. Be careful of the mentors that you choose, because if you don't vet them properly, well, chances are you're going to end up getting bad advice from someone who isn't really authentic and doesn't really speak from experience and really doesn't have much to share. But we didn't get much out of that counseling, and here we are separated. So the proof is in the pudding. And where am I going with this? I don't know, but I felt like I needed to share. So that's all. I hope you all are out there living your best lives, maxing out your lives to the fullest. And if nobody's told you that they love you today, just know I did.